Okay, so for a little geographic context. The street where I live was built on an uneven hill. Making the two roads, it consists of having 1 to 2 meters difference in height and 2 meters between them. The bottom street is around 12 meters long, and the top one around 10. Now, the one and only road connecting to this street was at the bottom of the road, and it connected two much larger streets. The first street, Street A, was rather even, and around 15-20 meters in length. And the other street, Street B, that leads to town centre, is also 15 to 20 meters in length, but is incredibly steep. So going up this hill is a challenge if you're not in a car. Now, to begin. I was just having a nice stroll down Street A when I saw him. The man at the end of the street. This street was just barely curved, and he was hidden by the houses until I got close to him. He was wearing thin jeans, a blue shirt and a winter jacket. Mind you, this was in the midst of summer. The first thing I noticed about this man was his build. Couldn't tell what he looked like above the hip, but his legs were really odd. They had bumps and divots here and there, and were completely asymmetrical. I assumed he could have had an injury and kept on my walk, but then he started moving. He began moving from his spot incredibly slow. In the corner of my eye, I didn't notice it, but when I looked at him, I could see him raising his foot and pushing it down just barely in front of him, like he had just learned to walk or something. I was getting a bit creeped out at this point, considering I don't like coming across people on my walk anyway. So I got the hell out of there. As I was walking down Street A to head back to the bottom of the road, I heard shuffling, like footsteps on gravel and rocks being kicked. I turned around and there he was. He had very pronounced brown hair, and I saw it through the bushes. I knew he was just some tired dude getting home, but I was getting genuinely scared. I went all the way down to the bottom of the street to maybe ward him off so I can get back to my house on the top street. Once I got out of view of him, I started running. I told myself I was doing it for the exercise, but I had seen too many horror movies to be dealing with some Jason Voorhees bullshit. Once I got back to the top street and at my house's front lawn, I stopped for a bit. I was heavily wheezing and out of breath. I'm not in very good shape. I sat down on the grass, trying not to get ants on my hand, until I looked down the street. On the little path I had taken to get back up to my street, I saw him. I don't think he noticed me, but I could see his hair. Now I was fucking horrified. He'd followed my exact path. I chose it because I expected him to take a shorter path to get up here, but there was no way in hell he needed to get to his house. He was following my every movement. Note that I'd only been there a few seconds, so unless my guy said /TP at me to this kid, then he was running, and I mean like running. When I was at the end of the bottom road, he had just gotten onto it from Street A. Because of how slow he was walking and the distance of the road, I ran up my fucking front yard to get to my house. Then I hesitated. I thought, maybe he is looking for his house, or maybe his friend's house. Maybe he's finding it by number. So I stopped and hid myself behind my neighbour's trees to look at him. This part genuinely scared me. He stopped, right at the end of the street, looked around and started running again. Now, not to sound really exaggerated, but he was fucking running so inconceivably fast it was scary. He was practically at my house by the time I'd gotten inside. I don't think he heard me open my door, but if he did, I would be absolutely fucked. Afterwards, I looked out the little window next to my door and saw him stop at my house, turn, and look. I was scared out of my mind at this point, but he just turned and slowly crept away again. Every now and then I would see him, just standing somewhere, sometimes at someone's lawn, sometimes just in the street. Other times he would be running dangerously fast and stop as if he had no momentum at all. But I did, at one point, have a nightmare about him. It wasn't really eventful, and wasn't scary when I was actually in the dream. But I woke up in a cold sweat afterwards for no reason. The dream went that I just woke up and one day looked out my living room window to find him standing in my backyard, looking at me, doing absolutely nothing. Then he looked me dead in the eyes. And just as slow as he walked, he began to grin. It was so freakishly realistic that I just want to know who the hell this guy is and what he wanted. Or maybe I don't. Keep Frosty.